Prime Minister Gaston Brown proposes independent review of firearms sentencing in a letter to Chief Justice, Her Ladyship Margaret Price Findlay. Police seize illegal firearm and make several arrests during coordinated operations. Dredging work completed at Crabs, paving the way for liquefied natural gas imports and larger cement vessels. And schools benefit from free prostate screening at the Port Authority. Those are the major stories this evening. The news in detail starts right now.
The local evening news is brought to you by Nagico, local agents, Bryson's Insurance.
The ABS Evening News Thursday starts now. Good evening. My name is Garfield Burford. A special welcome to those joining us online.
Good evening. I'm Nicola Barito. As per the norm, let's dive right into it. Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Gaston Brown, is insisting he is not seeking to control the courts, but he is also refusing to back away from his criticism of what he sees as lenient sentences for serious crimes.
Well, that's the developing story at the top of our broadcast this evening, because the head of government has responded to a joint statement from Caribbean heads of judiciary following controversy over his statements about deporting an unnamed judge and making that judge persona non grata over what he considers lenient sentences. Now, the head of government has also written to Chief Justice Margaret Price Findlay to propose an independent review of firearms sentencing, repeat offending, and the wider criminal justice system.
Our top story this evening is from Jamie J. Roche.
The Prime Minister begins his response by reaffirming what he calls, without qualification, the importance of an independent and impartial judiciary. But he argues judicial independence does not place court decisions or the administration of justice beyond reasoned public criticism. The Prime Minister says his August 10 remarks were not executive instructions against a judge, but rather a last resort warning aimed at getting the attention of the judicial hierarchy over sentences he considers too lenient. And seeking to draw a line between the warning and actual government action, he says there has never been any request or action by my government to remove or reassign or deport any member of the judiciary. Prime Minister Brown adds questions involving the tenure, assignment, or conduct of a judicial officer are governed by the Constitution and the law, and says those arrangements will be respected. But that, he makes clear, does not mean he's backing away from the substance of his complaint. As he puts it, that clarification neither withdraws nor dilutes my criticism of sentencing outcomes and institutional performance. The Prime Minister also takes issue with the heads of judiciary over what he says is their position that an appeal is the only lawful and legitimate way to address an unduly lenient sentence. Prime Minister Brown argues an appeal is a proper way to challenge or correct the sentence in an individual case, and acknowledges that the decision to appeal rests with the constitutionally independent Director of Public Prosecutions. But he argues one appeal cannot answer wider questions about sentencing patterns, repeat offending, delays, rehabilitation, and coordination across the criminal justice system. That is why, he says, he has written to Chief Justice Margaret Price Findlay proposing an independent review of sentencing for firearm and other serious violence offenses, repeat offending, and the wider justice system. Former Caribbean Court of Justice President Adrian Saunders has been suggested to chair the committee, while Sir Dennis Byron and Justice Godfrey Smith are also prepared to assist. Prime Minister Brown argues there is no contradiction between protecting the courts from interference and requiring the justice system to account for its performance. In his words, judicial independence and institutional accountability are not opposing principles. He says the government seeks no control over the decision of any court, but does want a justice system that is lawful, proportionate, transparent, consistent, and effective in protecting the public. And Prime Minister Brown ends his response with perhaps his sharpest restatement of the original complaint, warning that pervasive lenient sentences without extenuating circumstances serve no useful purpose but undermine public safety and confidence in the judiciary. The Prime Minister is now inviting the Caribbean heads of judiciary to support the proposed independent review and help ensure it proceeds without delay. Jamie J. Roche, ABS News.
Meanwhile, here's more on the Prime Minister's letter to the Chief Justice, Her Ladyship Margaret Price Findlay, because the letter to the Chief Justice proposes an independent review of the 5-year sentences for firearm and other violent offences. Well, that would include how sentencing guidelines, guilty plea discounts, aggravating and mitigating factors, and previous convictions have been applied.
Well, the review would also examine prosecution practices, bail and remand, prison release, rehabilitation, and the scale of repeat offending. He also told the Chief Justice any issue involving the tenure, assignment, or conduct of a judicial officer must be pursued through the institutions and procedures provided by the Constitution and law.
Well, Prime Minister Brown also insists the proposal is neither an apology nor a retreat from his concerns. He describes it as the constitutionally proper way to turn those concerns into an authoritative review and practical action.
Well, the Prime Minister is asking for the Chief Justice's initial response by August 20, with a final report proposed within 90 days of the committee's appointment.
We're also tracking this developing story. Police are stepping up intelligence-led operations across Antigua and Barbuda, with multiple searches resulting in the seizure of a firearm, ammunition, cannabis, and other contraband. Well, the operations carried out in Parham and Jennings have also led to the arrest of 5 people. Here's the latest this evening. Police say a search of a farm in Parham on Wednesday uncovered a firearm and several rounds of matching ammunition. Officers also seized 4 cellular phones along with a bow and arrows. 2 people at the farm were arrested on suspicion of unlawful possession of a firearm and ammunition. Police also carried out searches at a residence in Parham and at a property in Jennings. Cannabis and camouflage clothing were seized at both locations. 3 people were arrested in connection with the drug find. Well, the police administration says the operations are a shift towards more proactive, intelligence-driven policing. The focus, according to the police, is on disrupting firearms, drugs, violent crimes, and other serious organized criminal activity before it escalates. That means residents can expect more targeted searches and a greater police presence in communities across the country.
More news now. Cabinet wants laws in place to allow most police officers to carry firearms regardless of their rank. The announcement was made at this morning's post-cabinet media briefing.
If you have office duties most of the time, maybe they may not qualify to be armed. But however, the government believes that the time has come to address that matter and to ensure that, if not all, the majority of police officers should be armed. It's an immediate action, so work will commence immediately on getting to that.
Well, the Cabinet's decision comes as national security and law enforcement officials tackle the ongoing gun crime crisis.
The Cabinet has also approved the construction of a correctional facility near the prison farm in the Potworks Dam area. The decision comes as the government responds to rising gun-related crimes and long-standing overcrowding concerns at the country's main prison in St. John's. Director General for Communications in the Prime Minister's Office, Maurice Merchant, says the first phase of the new facility is expected to accommodate about 150 inmates, with additional units to be added in stages as more capacity is required.
I can tell you that already there are designs for this prison new facility that the government can move immediately to start construction. Already we have said that there is a location for this new facility, and so it has been something on the agenda of this administration.
Merchant also says the prison build-out will take a modular approach and is designed to allow prison capacity to grow in stages.
It has been a long-standing issue with the overcrowding at the current facility, and hence the government believes that it must move in that direction, and it can find the funds affiliated, it can find the individuals who can assist the government in the construction of this facility.
The work is expected to begin immediately on the new prison construction. The initial phase is expected to provide the foundation for the eventual transition away from the St. John's Prison in 1735.
Well, the government is considering adding hard labor as a condition of imprisonment at sentencing. It is in response to the current onslaught of crimes being committed by repeat offenders.
That will be one of the agenda items that will be on the card when Parliament meets in the next 3 weeks. It's all part of the rehabilitation efforts to develop a skill in them and to successfully reintegrate them into society.
The decision to include hard labor as part of a prisoner's punishment is usually left to the judge in that court matter.
In sentencing, it normally is the case whereby the judge will decide whether it is hard labor or not. However, it does not prevent the superintendent of prisons to coordinate with organizations, churches, government in having officers assist in doing certain works.
A developing story this evening, Blue Ocean Dredging Company has completed major dredging works at Crabs Harbor, clearing the channel to accommodate the docking of vessels with liquefied natural gas, or LNG, for the new power plant on the Crabs Peninsula, as well as larger ships carrying cement into the country. Director General for Communications in the Prime Minister's Office, Maurice Merchant, says testing is now underway to confirm that the channel has reached the required depth to safely accommodate these vessels.
Residents, customers of the utility providers can expect some difference in their bills once this LNG operations move into full force in Antigua and Barbuda.
Well, the dredging project had faced delays because of hard rock formations on the seabed. The government subsequently invested in specialized dredging equipment to strengthen Blue Ocean's capacity to undertake that work. Well, with the Crabs Harbor phase completed, Blue Ocean will now move its equipment and personnel to St. John's Harbor to begin the next phase of the dredging program to accommodate Oasis-class vessels in St. John's. The Merchant says the completion of that project will depend on the level of work left to be done in St. John's.
It has to do with additional assessments. It will have to do with the level of work that would be before them, and so how soon is a bit premature at this time.
The government plans to officially rename Barbuda's International Airport on Independence Day. It will be renamed the Burton Nibbs International Airport after two of the sister island's prominent political figures, Sir Eric Burton and Arthur Nibbs. Well, the ceremony will also see several streets in Barbuda renamed. The airport represents a significant upgrade from Barbuda's former 1,640-foot runway at Codrington. With a runway that is both longer and wider, the Burton Nibbs International Airport can accommodate larger aircraft, including private jets and aircraft such as the Embraer E170. The facility also features a modern fixed base operator, while the new runway can also accommodate nighttime landing with LED lighting installed, a first for Barbuda.
Education, Science and Technology Minister Honourable Darrell Matthew has joined fellow ministers of education from across CARICOM for the 52nd meeting of the Council for Human and Social Development, or COSOD, on education. It's happening in Guyana. Well, also present are the meetings in Georgetown are chief education officers, representatives of regional institutions, partner organizations, and other stakeholders. Under the theme, Educating for Life, Purpose and the Caribbean Progress, the ministers will deliberate on matters including micro-credentialing, assessments across the region, enhancing the mathematics program for primary and secondary schools, and advancing teaching and the teaching profession in the community. Well, in the remarks on the opening, CARICOM Secretary General Dr. Carla Barnett placed emphasis on technical and vocational education and training, or TVET, making the connection between skills development and employment, and TVET's role in strengthening the region's resilience and competitiveness. She points to a growing demand for technical, vocational, and digital skills in the region. She also says this presents an opportunity to strengthen the connection between education, skills development, and employment.
Well, staying with the educators, over 50 teachers are attending a two-day Teachers Professionalism Conference. The attendees included teachers from early childhood to tertiary, as well as Caribbean delegates. Ophelana Johnson reports on what the teachers are learning.
The jubilant sound of voices, teachers showing their enthusiasm and appreciation after listening to featured speaker Dr. Andrew Campbell, affectionately known as Dr. ABC. They were among over 50 teachers attending a two-day Teachers Professionalism Conference under the theme Reimagining Education, Innovation, Equity and Excellence. The conference started on Thursday, featuring local and regional delegates. Dr. Campbell encouraged the teachers to self-evaluate.
Who are you that you are not engaging as an educator in self-reflection? You are not engaging in self-assessment. I want you to learn to raise your own standard. Raise your own bar. Know when to show up. Know when to do the most.
He says this does not mean they are not working hard, as achieving greatness also includes self-care.
Take care of yourself. And self-care don't mean spa and facial and massage alone. It means sitting down on your veranda with a good cup of mint tea and just sit down there by yourself for 2 hours, unbothered, nobody talking to you, so you can sit in your body. You can whisper a prayer. You can cry a little bit.
The third edition of the conference also displayed the potential of some of the nation's children. Ophelana Johnson, ABS News.
Thanks so much, Ophelana. Of course, we'll keep across that story as well. Now, turning our attention, Nicola, to a major developing story which took place today. If you were watching ABS or listening to ABS Radio at 90.5 this afternoon, you would have heard what we're talking about. Let's tell you now that Antigua Barbuda has officially begun the countdown to the 45th anniversary of independence celebrations, Nicole.
Well, the theme, logo and program of activities for the milestone anniversary were unveiled at Government House this evening.
But officials say the occasion is also a call for national renewal and for this generation to decide what it will do with the independence it inherited. Jamie J. Roche was at Government House for the launch of the independence celebrations coming up, of course, November 1. Jamie joins us in studio to talk about what unfolded today. Good evening to you, Jamie.
Welcome, Jamie.
And that's right. The central message tonight was that 45 years after Antigua and Barbuda became a sovereign nation, the work of building it is far from finished. And that idea is captured in this year's theme, Renaissance, rooted in pride, bounded by prosperity for all. Minister for Sports and Creative Industries, Dwayne George, says the Renaissance must be authentically Antiguan and Barbudan and translate national pride into opportunity and progress.
Renaissance rooted in pride, bounded by prosperity for all. This is more than an independence theme. It is a statement of national intent. It is an invitation to every Antiguan and Barbudan at home or throughout our diaspora to believe again, to build again, to contribute again, and to recognize that each of us has a role in shaping the next chapter of our national story.
But according to George, the new 45th anniversary logo also draws the national symbols. The frigate bird represents freedom, sovereignty, and resilience. The black pineapple reflects national identity and the country's connection to the land, and the rising sun symbolizes hope and renewal. Well, that emphasis on roots was also reflected in the setting at Government House, including a traditional market display with local fruits and vegetables. The program of activities includes cultural education, sporting, religious, and community events building toward November 1st. And Independence 45 magazine will also document the country's journey through the stories and experiences of its people. Governor General Sir Rodney Williams used his reflections to look both back at the country's journey and ahead to what it can still become.
And now, 45, we are no longer a young nation, but neither are we an old nation. 45 is an interesting age. It is old enough to have memories, and it is young enough to have dreams.
So Rodney says independence cannot only live in flags, monuments, and annual pride, but must be reflected in what each generation contributes to the country. The anniversary will also have a commemorative toast. Antigua Distillery Limited presented Minister George with a special 45th Independence edition of the English Harbour Rum, which Managing Director Anthony Bento says is expected to be released within the next 2 months. And so the countdown is now on to November 1st, and the message tonight was that 45 years after the flag was first raised, independence remains an ongoing responsibility, with this generation now being asked to help shape the next chapter. Back over to the desk.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Life begins at 45, right?
Indeed, indeed. An interesting way, Jamie, the way the Governor General said it. 45 is an interesting age, not too old, not too young either.
Yes, old enough to have memories, and young enough to have dreams.
To create much more. Yeah?
Indeed. That's quite profound as well. Jamie, thank you so much. And of course, we look forward to more from you coming up at 10 o'clock as well. Jamie J. Roche, our senior reporter producer here at ABS, providing us details of what unfolded at Government House today. Nicola?
Well, we can tell you more this evening because we're moving from 45 years of independence and we're heading now to 70 years. And what am I talking about? Well, government is placing more resources into the creative sector with a new fund aimed at assisting homegrown artists to take their work beyond the domestic market. Well, Cabinet has approved an initial $250,000 investment to establish a creative industries development fund designed to support soca artists, calypsonians, and other creatives in producing first-class, high-quality work with global potential. Well, Director General of Communications, Maurice Merchant, outlines eligibility requirements for fund access.
The intention of the fund is to first and foremost assist those who have placed within the finals of the various competitions. And then also it is open to other individuals who require assistance and who have proven that their product can be developed to become a regional or international brand, and that can generate income and not a one-hit wonder for Antigua and Barbuda alone, not a song or one-liner that simply fades away after Carnival ends, but something that can last a lifetime and generate consistent revenue for the artist.
Well, the initiative comes on the heels of the 2026 Carnival celebrations, with Cabinet recognizing the country's surplus of creative talent, while also acknowledging the urgent need for strategic investment to help local productions compete in regional and global markets, while government is committed to creating new revenue opportunities for artists and producers while giving Antigua and Barbuda's homegrown creative talent greater international exposure. And we can definitely tell you more now because there's also selected shows, let's say this, selected shows affiliated with Antigua and Barbuda's Carnival 2027 will be offered on a pay-per-view basis, giving local and overseas audiences access to the productions.
The aim is to get the various carnival activities to the widest possible audience, inclusive of the differently abled individuals at homes, and so various guidelines will be put in place, various formats will be put in place on how persons can access live carnival shows.
Well, the Director General also clarified how this option would affect those who may not have the means to purchase pay-per-view access, and he spoke particularly about the elderly and people living with disabilities.
It would not be all carnival shows. You would recognize, or you would agree with me if I tell you that the differently abled and the elderly would not be interested in a Soca Monarch competition. And they would be more interested in a Calypso competition or a Queen's competition. And so that's why the shows that will be on pay-per-view would be a selected few.
Well, 2027 marks the 70th anniversary of Antigua's Carnival. Garfield?
Indeed, we're also following a developing story, of course, because Antigua Barbuda is preparing to make history this November as the smallest country ever to host the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, or CHOGM. And with some of the Commonwealth's highest level officials expected here, Parliament has passed the Visiting Forces Bill 2026, creating the legal framework for foreign military and security personnel who will be brought in to assist with security at CHOGM. Well, Alicia George takes a closer look at what the new law allows for and what it could mean if something were to go wrong. Take a look.
Antigua and Barbuda is getting ready to host CHOGM. It is the smallest country ever to host one of the Commonwealth's biggest gatherings. And that means increased foreign military and security personnel working alongside our own forces.
But if something goes wrong, who has the power to investigate, prosecute, and hold a Foreign Service member accountable? That is one of the key questions addressed by the Visiting Forces Bill. And the answer is, it depends.
Now, in most cases, if a Foreign Service member commits an offense while in Antigua and Barbuda, the courts here have primary jurisdiction. But the new law says there are exceptions.
If the alleged offense involves the security or property of the foreign country or another member of its force, the Foreign Military Court can have primary jurisdiction, and either side can waive that right, allowing the other country to deal with the case.
The bill also sets out when foreign personnel can be arrested. The Defense Force here has the authority to arrest and hand them over once their own military gives permission.
But the bigger issue is immunity. Foreign personnel are protected from local, criminal, and civil proceedings for actions carried out as part of their official duties. That does not mean they are automatically above the law. But if Antigua and Barbuda wants to prosecute or take civil action over an act covered by that immunity, the foreign government would have to waive it. The bill also allows visiting personnel to carry firearms, ammunition, and explosives while performing their duties, provided they have been authorized to do so by their own service authorities. And what if a member of the public is injured or property is damaged? The bill provides a process for compensation claims. But it also places limits on directly enforcing judgments against foreign personnel for actions carried out in their official capacity. There are also special rules for deaths involving visiting force personnel. In certain circumstances, a local coroner must suspend an inquest unless the Justice Minister directs otherwise. Foreign forces can bring equipment and supplies into Antigua and Barbuda without paying duty or tax. So the Visiting Forces Bill creates a legal framework for foreign military and security personnel to operate here.
But it also creates clear distinction between local and foreign jurisdiction, and in some cases gives foreign personnel immunity for actions carried out during their official duties. Alicia George for ABS News.
Alicia, thanks for that breakdown there, deconstructing what's in the Visiting Forces Bill 2026. Well, men who work at the Port Authority got the opportunity to screen for prostate cancer this morning. The Lions Club partnered with the Port's management to carry out free prostate-specific antigen or PSA screening. Alicia Humphreys has a report and the reactions from those behind it.
At Antigua and Barbuda Port Authority, where for the first time in the 18 years of our prostate screening, we are screening at a private entity. So today, Mr. Telemack and his team have asked us to come down here today to screen the men who work here at the port. We started at 7. We have our 2 doctors, Dr. Thwaites and Dr. Cohen.
The initiative was pitched by Port Manager Darwin Telemack to the board, which he says approved it immediately.
We wish all our men in Antigua and Barbuda could go through this system because something good for them. I've been through it 10 years ago. As a matter of fact, I went to Barbados and had surgery there. So I know what it's like and I'm quite okay now.
The port manager says a similar initiative will be done for women once the logistics are worked out.
One of the drivers, actually, has been the number of deaths that we've seen from breast cancer. And so the other thing we will be doing is a similar type of screening for the women to try to get the 100+ women that we have at the Antigua and Barbuda Port Authority will afforded the opportunity to have some that breast cancer stuff done. Now, it's not normal to bring all the equipment for a mammogram into this office, so that would be something we will do separately.
Doctors Thwaites and Cohen are inviting workers who did not do the test and the general public to take the opportunity to do their prostate screening on Saturday.
We will do our final set of screening at the Lions Den, and that will be on Saturday. Registration starts at around 7 in the morning. We do have some pre-registration, which is going to be Thursday and Friday afternoon from around 2 in the afternoon until maybe 5, 6.
Alicia Humphreys, ABS News.
Alicia, thanks so much indeed. All right, here's a quick programming note. Be sure to join us tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock for another edition of Antigua Barbuda Today. You can't afford to miss the program coming up. It promises to be always riveting and exciting, and of course tomorrow being a Friday, there'll always be an entertaining component as well, an even bigger accent on entertainment. All right, when we come back, more of the stories that we're closely tracking this evening, including this one.
Well, we can tell you that the country's new Sickle Cell Center will officially open next week as government remains committed to specialized treatment and patient care locally. And what's coming up in sport, Garfield?
A bit later on with our Terry Andrew, former Benner Britt and assistant coach of England national team of the 2026 World Cup, Justin Cochrane. He has some words for us. He shares some insights in an interview with ABS Sports. It's a massive world exclusive. We'll have that in sports later, but first the break ahead of more national news. Do stay with us, please.
At Nagico, the things that matter to you matter to us. Like knowing you're covered when your house gets flooded, getting your settlements quickly and fairly when a fire hits your home, and making sure your business can keep going even after an accident happens on site. At Nagico, we're about much more than just insurance. We're about the big things and the small things that mean everything.
On your mark.
For the mornings you were up before the sun.
Get set.
For the nights you stayed longer than everyone else. And for the moments you pushed yourself beyond what you thought was possible. ECAP is here with you to help you cross the finish line. Introducing the ECAP Game Changers Scholarship, a one-time grant of 25,000 Eastern Caribbean dollars for one exceptional student athlete in track and field, football, or swimming who has received a partial scholarship to study abroad. If you are a resident of Antigua and Barbuda, aged 14 to 21, and entering your first year of study, this is your moment. Get recommended by your coach, write your 500-word essay, and apply today. Visit ecabank.com or email gamechangers@ecabank.com for more information. Applications close August 21st, 2026. The Eastern Caribbean Amalgamated Bank. Our future, our bank.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. More national developments now. Health Minister, the Honorable Michael Joseph, has advised Cabinet that the country's new sickle cell center will officially open next week.
So the announcement was made this morning at the post-cabinet media briefing, which happens every Thursday. And it came from Maurice Merchant, the Director General of Communications in the Prime Minister's office. Take a listen.
The country's new sickle cell center will officially open next week, I believe next week Monday, making another important advancement in the delivery of specialized healthcare services in Antigua and Barbuda.
Well, the center will provide dedicated support for people living with sickle cell disease and represents part of the government's continuing program to improve access to specialized treatment and patient care locally.
Our Cabinet welcomed the imminent opening and acknowledged the importance of providing a dedicated facility to better respond to the needs of persons affected by sickle cell disease and their families.
All right, that's to take us out of a look at national developments. Up next, the weather report and forecast. A lot of focus and emphasis this evening on the weather report and forecast because we can expect some heavy rains over the weekend because of what could become a tropical depression. Here with us to talk about all the developments in your weather is Leonard Josiah. Good evening to you, Leonard.
Good evening, Leonard.
And good evening to you, Garfield, and good evening to you, Nicola. Good evening to you, Antigua and Barbuda. Definitely so much to unpack. As a matter of fact, you're looking at the National Hurricane Center's homepage. And when you look at this particular picture, if you know where we are located in the Leeward Islands. But a picture is worth more than 1,000 words. In this particular picture, you are seeing a lot of bad, but I'm seeing a lot of good. Stay with us. I'll explain it more when we return. I'll be right back.
The weather report is brought to you by Leeward Islands Hurricane Protection.
When the skies are clear and the winds are calm, we often forget how unpredictable Mother Nature can be. But when a hurricane strikes, it's the strength of your home that matters most. Whether you are preparing for your first storm or looking to upgrade your current protection, Leeward Islands Hurricane Protection has got you covered. Our expert team handles everything from custom design to professional installation, ensuring your home is as strong as it is beautiful. Call today for a free consultation. Leeward Islands Hurricane Protection, built strong to weather any storm.
Thanks a lot for staying with us. Let's go straight on to the National Hurricane Centers, and already you're looking at two major weather developing situations. We're looking at what's here, this first X, and we're looking at the second X right here. Yes, we're in the month of August, and you should be prepared because the main development area is actually coming alive, and we are located in the Leeward Islands. What's the bad? Well, we don't necessarily want to see weather systems like these pointing closer to the Leeward Islands. That's just the reality that we are faced with right now tonight. But here is the good. Last night, AL92, this one that was located here, was shrouded in a lot of red. We don't want to see reds on pictures like these because red signifies that there is not only a potential strong system, but there's a potential developing system. Last night to tonight, take a look at what's happening. It has been downgraded to an orange. Last night 80%, tonight 60%. And this is also good news when it comes to tropical cyclone forecasting, because it says to you and me that the chances and the trend is going in the opposite direction, and that's certainly the good. But take a look at what's at the back here. We're still monitoring this particular area, and I'm going to be unpacking some major stuff here for you, because a lot of you are looking at the very same things that we are watching tonight. So first of all, let's start with something such as this. A lot of reds, a lot of blues, a lot of yellows, a lot of greens. What does it really mean? Well, the reds impact here. We want to point out where Antigua and Barbuda we are, right here. Take a look at where AL92 is. Take a look at where AL94 is. They are in different spots of bother, but here is the good news. This red here is what we call, and if you'd want to say it with me, the death zone. The death zone, this is what we call strong upper level wind shear. This is the picture that's going to be with us, not for the tonight, not for tomorrow, into the weekend. So we're looking at AL92 and AL94. They are forecast to move off towards the west. And what will AL92 encounter? The death zone. That's the good news, because if it wasn't for this particular spot right here, we would be looking at a much different scenario of a developing system. Take a look at AL94, but now AL94 is shrouded in a little bit more blue. It's a little bit more sheltered from the red. So a little bit more development can take place out of AL94, at least in the coming days. We're going to be keeping a closer eye on this for right now. But for right now, these two systems are telling a different tale. One, AL94, is on the good side. Take a look at where it's at. We're in the Leeward Islands right here. Many of you are wondering, what is it we're going to be experiencing for the weekend? We are looking at the shrouded clouds associated with AL94 or AL92. Forecast to move off towards the west-northwest and encounter the death zone. And that is our saving grace. So we're looking forward, at least for the weekend, that we're going to be seeing not so much in the wind impact. Here is the good news, however. We're looking at, even though it remains a disheveled tropical wave, it's likely to bring torrential rainfall to the islands of the Eastern Caribbean and some gusty winds. So there will be some minor impacts, but not major at all. We're going to be keeping our eyes peered behind here, because this one here will certainly be on the radar for the next week. What will it encounter? This one behind here is likely to develop a little bit more easier. So here's what I'm going to be telling you. What our forecast will be, our 4-day outlook. We're going to be putting this particular graphic, is one new one for you tonight, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and on Monday. Tomorrow during the daytime hours, just the garden variety passing shower. A 40% chance of a passing shower both day and at night. Winds on the up, east-northeasterlies at 15 miles an hour. Your daytime highs at 34, nighttime temperatures at 26. But come Saturday, most of you are wondering, you'll wake up tomorrow, wake up on Saturday morning, so you just have some mixture of some passing clouds with a little bit of passing showers. A 60% chance that you see more so of an afternoon shower. Going on into Saturday night, however, there comes AL94. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies, some torrential rainfall, and some gusty winds Saturday night. Sunday morning, some of that lingers over into Sunday morning. Still a 90% chance of some passing showers and some thunderstorms because of the lingering effects of AL92. By Sunday night, a little bit better conditions. Then on Monday, we return to our good old garden variety type weather as we continue to monitor that way. AL94. Yes, it's definitely not out of the radar. Then come the seas. A little bit more impact on the seas. However, the reds in this context means that we're going to be entering a warning signal sometime during the course of the Sunday going on to Monday. But again, Friday, Saturday, and on Sunday, 8 to 10 feet, not friendly territories for small craft operators and those individuals who will want to to ensure that they have a good time at the beach. Pay close attention to what's coming out of the Met Office, because we will be issuing certainly some watches or warnings for the seas. Right now, yes, we're still in what we call an alert territory for AL92. So our forecast takeaways goes pretty much like this. AL92 is entering hostile territory and is weakening. But that's not a case for you to let your guards down. Please monitor with us. AL94 could still develop. That's on the radar for sure. We want you to make sure that you're prepared. Minor impacts are still likely during the course of this weekend. Heavy torrential rainfall and gusty conditions because of AL92, with the possibility of some flooding in some areas. The seas will become unsafe for mariners, and those individuals who are definitely want to go out on the seas, pay close attention to what's coming out of the Met Office. And again, this is where you want to get most of your information, on our WhatsApp channel. And remember, as you go on into the weekend, we will want to engage with you. Send those pics and to our 729-5116. That's our WhatsApp number. And definitely, as I always say, the weather will always change, but you can continue to weather that weather in spite of the weather. Keep on monitoring with us. I turn you right back over to Garfield and Nicola for the continuation of the news. Good night.
Thank you so much.
That was very comprehensive, Leonard. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for explaining how the wind shear is our best friend, because it's preventing AL92 from developing. But AL94 could be in better territory. Let's see how that one pans out. So we'll have to monitor very closely, right?
Monitor very closely. But for right now, most of them looking for some minor impacts during the course of the weekend. That's what we're experiencing. Saturday night going on into Sunday. Again, I should stress this. If it speeds up, early arrival time. That's on the docket also.
Fair enough. Just very quickly, Leonard, how much rain is in the forecast in terms of inches?
Okay, so we do not necessarily want to call it at this stage because of the fact that it is weakening. But when I looked at it earlier on, we're still looking anything between 1 to 3 inches of rainfall. That is certainly possible. And again, if it zips by, it might be less. If it stays with us a little bit longer, then it can be more. That's a safe territory for us to start with tonight. But there is hope, at least going forward in the weekend, for just to calm the nerves of those individuals who want the water. Yes, the rainfall, definitely.
All right, I think we all want the rainfall. So. All right, thank you so much, Leonard. Really appreciate it. Leonard Josiah with a very comprehensive weather report and forecast, especially looking on into what could very well be a wet weekend. All right, a quick look at news overseas is on tap after the break, including this story. Internal maintenance records, leaked internal maintenance records, reveal severe mechanical, electrical, and structural defects which plagued the MV Barima, which, as you know, capsized, killing scores of people in Guyana. We'll have an update.
And internationally, the Ebola outbreak in the DRC is now the world's second largest, with reports of 50 people dying each day. So we'll have all of that and more, regional and international, right after this.
Reporting live from Caribbean Union Bank's press conference, where bank representatives will address its customers and the media, explaining just how CUB simplifies life through its financing.
Today, my team and I will share with you how CUB's financial solutions are designed to simplify your life. Now, let's open the floor for any questions that you may have.
How can you help me as a retiree?
That's a good question. We offer customized retirement solutions at competitive rates.
How easy is it for me to switch my mortgage to CUB?
With attractive interest rates and minimal switching fees, CUB makes switching mortgages easy.
Do you offer point-of-sale machines?
Absolutely. All point-of-sale systems can speed up checkout and boost sales.
Those were great questions, and our team is here to further support you. We're Caribbean Union Bank, the bank that cares, and our doors are open to welcome you.
Welcome to Hadid Dental Clinic, where your oral health and beautiful smile are our top priority. We utilize state-of-the-art technology, like advanced panoramic X-rays, for precise diagnostics. Our experienced team is dedicated to providing comprehensive dental care, from routine checkups and restorative procedures to enhancing your smile with professional teeth whitening. At Hadid Dental, we embrace innovation, like advanced intraoral scanning for accurate digital impressions, ensuring the highest quality and efficiency in your treatment. Whether it's complex procedures or detailed imaging, our commitment is to your lasting oral health. Hadid Dental Clinic. Your smile, our priority. Visit us today.
Regional developments now. Let's head to Guyana. Leaked internal maintenance records have revealed that severe mechanical, electrical, and structural defects aboard the MV Barima were repeatedly documented and flagged for urgent repair months prior to the vessel's catastrophic July 18 capsizing. We have more from HGP TV.
The handwritten reports dating from November 2025 through March 2026 identify problems ranging from an out-of-service generator and leaking engine exhaust to overheating machinery, defective cooling equipment, deteriorated batteries, and other repair requirements. Several of the requests were expressly described as urgent. Taken together, the records paint a picture of a vessel for which repeated requests for repairs and replacement equipment were being generated in the months preceding the tragedy. One of the most significant documents is dated November 30, 2025. It describes the number 1 generator aboard the MV Barima as out of service, reportedly because a water pump was not working and needed to be repaired or replaced. The report specifically asks that the defect be treated urgently. The document also carries a notation directing the outstanding generator defect be addressed.
All right, well, let's head now to Dominica, where the Chief of Police, Lincoln Corbett, announced that police officer Jean Langley was charged with the murder of Jabaya Paul of Portsmouth. While he expressed regret that this happened within the police force that has strived to follow the directive of protecting and serving the public. The police chief stressed that this is an ongoing investigation and said he would not reveal too much information in order not to compromise the case. Now, that's a quick look at regional developments. When we come back, international news.
From Boosted Seeds, I carry no cash. I tap and pay. I'm done in a flash.
Adventure is done. We grab a bite. I tap my card. It feels just right.
We booked our trip and paid with ease. Checked my rewards. Upgrade, yes please.
Paid it online while out with the crew. Tap for drinks. It's easy to do.
They tap, I drive. It's quick, it's clear. No counting cash or waiting here.
I use my card to keep things smooth. And my rewards? Wow, they really move.
ACB Visa Credit Card. My life, my card, my rewards. Get yours today. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. An Ebola outbreak in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, or the DRC, is rapidly becoming one of the most devastating on record. Health officials say the outbreak is now the world's second largest, with roughly 50 people dying each day as the virus spreads at an unprecedented pace. Now, in Ituri province, overwhelmed health workers are facing attacks on treatment centers and growing pressure on limited medical facilities, as Al Jazeera reports.
Another death, another grieving family, this time a pastor who died at a treatment center just 2 days after arriving. The outbreak in Eastern DRC was declared 3 months ago. On average, about 50 people are dying every day, and the pace of the spread seems to be increasing. Health workers say they are overwhelmed, struggling to keep pace with the virus. The world's leading health organizations are painting a grim picture.
It's already the second biggest Ebola epidemic on record, and it's moving faster than any previous Ebola outbreak. We're mapping and pooling resources to strengthen community-based surveillance, to bring every suspected case into care and reach the 95% contact tracing target needed to interrupt transmission.
Of course, we'll keep across that story as well. Let's go now from Africa to the waters of the Persian Gulf. Thousands of U.S. military members who have been living aboard an aircraft carrier, a U.S. aircraft carrier, for more than 250 days are reportedly contending with food shortages, broken plumbing, exhaustion, and other hardships, leading lawmakers to demand answers from the Pentagon and putting pressure on the Trump administration over the Iran war. Well, military news outlets reported that multiple sailors on the USS Abraham Lincoln have considered jumping overboard as well. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth on Thursday called reports of poor conditions, quote, completely misrepresented, end quote. The carrier left California in November for the South China Sea and was sent to the Middle East ahead of attacks on Iran in February of this year. Well, that's where take us out of a look at the news overseas. When we come back, Terry Andrew has the sports, including a world exclusive. We'll hear from Justin Cochran. He speaks with ABS News exclusively about the World Cup experience and about football in this country. All that ahead. Stay with us, please.
And you're done. Oh my God, this looks so nice. You are a magician, girl. Tell me, how much I have for you again? $150. Okay. I only have $130. I went to the gas station this morning. No worries, I have eGov Tap to Pay. I can use my Android phone or Android tablet to receive payments. Okay, girl, let me look my card. I absolutely love the fact that you're with the times. Thank you. Yes, girl.
Call eGov at 480-6186 or email cardservices@ecabank.com to apply for a Tap to Pay feature.
From the richness of the Caribbean soil,
fresh, pure, naturally powerful.
from wholesome roots to irresistible crunch. Made for your kitchen, your business,
Your lifestyle.
export quality, Caribbean grown.
Crispa, real Caribbean, real flavor. Available now.
Welcome back. Now, former Brit and assistant coach of England national team of the 2026 World Cup, Justin Cochran, says it's a dream come true being on the sidelines of the global spectacle in the US, Mexico and Canada earlier this summer. He tells ABS Sports it was a surreal feeling and one he will never forget in his coaching career. As Terry Andrew now reports.
14 years ago, Cochran represented Antigua and Barbuda's Better Boys during the 2014 FIFA World Cup qualifiers, facing the United States as a player. He recounts walking back into the Raymond James Stadium in Florida, this time as a coach for England's warm-up fixture against New Zealand.
Walked out to the pitch, I think, I've been here. And I remembered playing there for Antigua and Barbuda, and at that moment I actually thought, wow, what an achievement for the island of Antigua and Barbuda to play against the USA that year in this stadium now that I'm playing a World Cup warm-up game. So yeah, and listen, we all love football, we all have dreams, and I couldn't fulfill the dream as a player, but as a coach, going to the World Cup has been some achievement. It probably still hasn't sunk in fully, but yeah, it was an amazing thing.
With high expectations from an entire nation, Cochran talks about working on Thomas Tuchel's staff and his experience being in the dugout in intense moments.
Manager in himself, firstly, he's a great person. He connects with the players, he connects with the staff. He's open to listening. It's not when I'm there, he wants my opinion. I have to speak up. I have to provide him with the support, and he's demanding, which you like. But each game has its own story. It's like you have to design your game plan for each team. You have to work out the best team to select. You have to keep the players who are not starting in the right mood. And he did that fantastically. You've got 26 players there that all want to play, all of the highest level at a World Cup they all dreamed of. How do you keep the brotherhood tight? And I watched him lead and create that environment and create that culture within the group. And then I also watched him on the football side, just deliver top training sessions that we was all part of, deliver brilliant game plans. The meetings were all precise. The players, they understood the game plan. It was open forum in terms of discussion.
England fell at the semi-final stage to Argentina 2-1, then went on to defeat France 6-4 in the third-place match. Throughout a challenging year on the field, Cochrane tells ABS Sports Antigua and Barbuda remains a home away from home for his family.
I've got 3 sons. I've had a tough 2 years because my wife passed away, just nearly 20 months ago. And I feel like when I come here, it's a sense of peace. I want my children to understand island life. So yes, I'm staying here at this hotel for a few nights, but I have a villa in Liberta or Horsford Hill where I've been staying. And I want my children to experience island life, obviously the food, the sunshine, the people, family. And it's almost like it's time away from the fast-paced nature. And especially after going to a World Cup for 7 weeks, my children are off school. I thought, right, why not go to Antigua for close to a month? I've got friends here, I've got people that I've met. So we just wind down and just enjoy each day and each moment as it comes. There's no real agenda.
Terry Andrew, ABS Sports.
Of course, thanks so much, Terry. Much more from Justin Cochrane in subsequent sportscasts. A world exclusive their interview with ABS Sports. Now, cricket. St. Kitts Nevis Patriots defeated St. Lucia Kings by 5 wickets in their Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League clash at the Darren Sammy Cricket Stadium on Wednesday night. Chasing 156 for victory, an unbeaten 48 from Andre Fletcher guarded the Patriots home with 14 balls to spare. Earlier, Kings posted 155 for 8 in their 20 overs. Antiguan Joel Andrew top scored with a 42-ball 58. Hitting 2 4s and 4 6s. There was also a 30-ball 54 from opener Kamil Puran. His knock included 7 boundaries and 3 maximums. Both Jason Holder and Sumar Natravalka, they picked up 3 wickets apiece for 20 and 32 runs respectively. Tonight at Savannah Park, Jamaica Kingsmen will tackle Guyana Amazon Warriors. A match coming up, actually starting just a few minutes ago. And finally, this story, Antiguan bowlers remain perfect at the Antigua bowlers remain perfect at the 3rd annual Mahija Davis Basketball Academy Youth Summer Splash Invitational, as we hear in this report.
The bowlers followed up their Game 1 victory with a dominant showing that saw 6 players finishing in double-digit scoring in the 101-37 hammering of Daddy Bowlers at GSC. Johan Nicholas anchored the offensive charge for the bowlers. The forward registered a game-high 22 points. He had strong assistance from teammate Nathan Matthew. The guard accounted for 15. Daddy were led by Derek Perez and big man Noah Messiah. Perez fired in a joint team-high 11, while Messiah tallied the same amount in the losing effort. Daddy Ballers will next clash with Daddy Elites at 6:45 p.m. on Friday, followed by the nightcap of Antiguan Ballers versus Grenada at 8:30. Chief Sergeant, ABS Sport.
Thanks so much, Sharif. Of course, we'll keep across all those developments. Much more coming up at 10 o'clock as well. And in that match, we told you that Jamaica Kingsmen taking on Guyana Amazon Warriors. The Amazon Warriors won the toss, chose to field. Jamaica Kingsmen are one without loss. There's 2 deliveries bowled in the match so far. Actually, 1.2 overs. So the Guyana Amazon Warriors keeping it quite tight in the first balls of the match. So 1.3 overs gone, 1 without loss to Jamaica Kingsmen. That's it for the news. Really appreciate the company. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Garfield Burford. Pleasant evening. Pleasant viewing.
I'm Nicola Barito. Have a great night.